As soon as I told people where I was staying, everyone was like, oh, it's so scary. Why are you staying there? It's like a really bad area. So I had to carry all my camera gear late at night. And someone smashed the fucking window. What the fuck?
G'day guys, Josh Huggett here from Huggett Media, and today we are talking about all of the most essential items that I bring with me as a travelling wedding photographer. So for those of you that are new here, my name is Josh. I'm a wedding photographer in Adelaide, South Australia, and I travel all over the fucking world taking photos, and all over the country mainly all around Australia. Occasionally we go overseas as well. So I do have like a kit of things that I bring to every single interstate wedding with me. So we're going to run through them today. I've just travelled from Adelaide to Perth in Australia now, literally from the centre all the way to the west coast. And number one on my list of things that I bring with me to every single interstate wedding is an absolute banger and an absolute must, and that's a phone cable. And I'm not talking some ridgy-dig like USB-C to USB-C fast charge cable. I'm talking an old school USB-A to lightning cable or USB-A to USB-C cable, because I can pretty much 100% guarantee any hire car that you get into isn't going to have USB-C for Apple CarPlay. If it does have Apple CarPlay, that's a plus. So I always have one of these in my bag. Right now I'm in the MG fucking something, and it's USB-A to do Apple CarPlay. So if you want to be able to use your maps and use this big screen, just chucking one of these old cables into your tech pouch or whatever you're using is probably my biggest ever suggestion. The next thing, if it doesn't have Apple CarPlay like this, it's going to be something like this. I'll talk about this in a second. I need to get to my hotel and check in, and I need to get some food because Jetstar did me an absolute fucking dirty and there was no food on the plane for me. I like to try to save money when I'm traveling and book like reasonably cheap hotels, but I really think I've done myself a fucking dirty this time. This doesn't look good. I don't like this at all. I might actually die today. Fucking hell, man. You'd think for something with the name Platinum in the name, there's fucking Commodores with windows that don't shut. I don't think it's ever been painted. Whoa, next clip, room tour. Cool. Kind of half expected to find somebody in there. So now that I've checked in, probably just gonna go somewhere else until I have to sleep tonight. Usually I'm pretty relaxed with kind of like where I leave my gear, and I'll bring all my stuff into a hotel room and just leave it here and then go out and explore or go out and do stuff. Not going to be that relaxed today. I don't feel relaxed today. So all I need to do is sleep here. And even then,
Got 2 kids, so I'm pretty used to not sleeping. Anyway, I'm gonna bring all my camera gear with me everywhere that I go today, just to be safe. But now I'm gonna go buy a cable for number 3, and then we'll talk about number 2 while we're in the car. Fuck. Side note, there's absolutely no chance of me getting any vegan food anywhere near where I'm staying currently. There is a Hungry Jack's though. And there's nobody hiding or hanging in the closet, so that's nice. Cool. Like in the movies, where you see people go and do a shady drug deal, or they'll go and like, you know, go and meet a lady of the night, or they'll go somewhere and get murdered. That's kind of where I feel like I'm staying. It's alright. It's okay. Just Perth things, isn't it? Just Perth things? That's what I've been told anyway. We're going to go buy this cable, and while we're on our way, we're going to talk about this little ditty here and why I think you should have one. Because they're great. I don't need it this trip, but I always have one in my bag just in case. So what we're going to talk, what the number 2 thing is this little ditty here. This is just a little phone holder for the car. So when you go and hire a car, obviously you're not really going to know where you're staying or where you're going, especially if you're shooting a wedding and you've never been to that venue before. So having Google Maps up is always probably like the best thing that you can do, so you can see where you're going. And this little phone holder, I bought this one because it was marketed to me pretty heavily. There is another one out that I think might actually be better, but I usually stick it onto the old screen, or stick it onto the windscreen as well, and that way I can stick my phone up and have a look. I'll show you what it looks like once I get to this shopping centre to buy this cable. About this one is that it's actually rechargeable by USB-C. I normally just give it a little bit of a lick, and then it will suck onto any surface like that, and that way I'm able to actually like hold my phone on there. You can suck it onto a window and hold your phone on it. So if you had like an older car, you can actually like put your maps on there and you'll be able to see your Google Maps while you're driving, if it doesn't have Apple CarPlay or something like that. But otherwise, that's why I always have this little cable here so that we could use Google Maps while we're driving. Let's jump into JB Hi-Fi, grab this cable. I also just saw a Dan Murphy's down the road, so I'm going to get a bottle of red wine because I'm going to need that to help me sleep later in the Death Motel. So I've just pulled back up to the hotel. I wonder if you're able to see on the back of the car. I've just pulled back up to the hotel room, and there's somebody parked in my car park out the front of my room with their bonnet open, and they're sitting on my chairs smoking. I don't fucking know, man. Anyway, there's somebody sitting on my chair out the front of my room in my car park. I just wanted to chop the beer off. Just wanted to put the beer in the fridge. But both the car parks are taken. So number 3 was entertainment. Entertainment when you're traveling is obviously paramount, so that way you're not getting bored. One of those things that you can do is actually go and travel and look at things, which is something I'm about to go and do now because Instagram has told me that I have to. The other thing is like TV and video games and that sort of stuff. I like video games. This is my ROG Ally X. What we went and just bought is actually the USB-C to HDMI cable so that we can plug it into the TV when we pull into hotel rooms. Otherwise, we just play it handheld. Entertainment is far easier now that people have like iPhones and that sort of stuff as well, and you can just kind of do it all on your phone. But something like that to keep you entertained. It isn't just like watching YouTube videos like this, but yeah, something like this, like a little gaming console, really comes in handy, and it just kind of breaks up the monotony of traveling and staying in hotel rooms that like this all of the time. We're going to go see Perth, and while we're seeing Perth, we're going to come up with the next one. Not come up with it, I've got it written down. Right, so I put a poll out on Instagram asking if I should go and travel and see stuff around Perth, or if I should stay in my hotel room and play Xbox and just drink red wine. And you all decided that I should go and experience Perth. So we're going to go and travel and experience Perth
and I'm gonna jump on my phone. I'm gonna type in attractions and I'm gonna see what the fucking top thing is gonna be. Let's go. Thanks, Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, make sure you give it a follow as well. We do a lot more stuff on Instagram than we do here on YouTube, but come on over. I've written attractions. Looks like we're going to Elizabeth Quay. 41-minute drive. Does look like it's taken us into the heart of Perth though, so at least we'll get to see the heart of Perth. Fucking drive over some water. Start. Let's go to Perth.
This compound is large, but it's nothing fancy. His family have been living here for the past 5 years.
Alright, so I've driven all the way into Perth now to come and see that bloody loop-de-loop thing with all the metal outside of the fucking... down by the foreshore. Went and had a look at that. Didn't even bother getting out of the car. There was absolutely no parking whatsoever. And then I ended up on a freeway that took me on like a 40-minute loop. Probably should have done a little bit more planning, but now we're going to my favorite place. And that's somewhere where I can just get a big feed.
I don't know. What am I doing?
This may be a perfect example of eyes being bigger than your mouth, but I just ordered 3 meals. A laksa, a salt and pepper tofu, and a satay. But I also haven't eaten since this morning. This could be my first ever mukbang. Just an update, the food has arrived and it's going to be an absolute piss day. Look at this. This is like breakfast. Good morning. We survived the night in the Death Motel last night. Ended up making a barricade here by the door because this lock didn't really fill me with that much confidence. Right now I'm just packing up my bags so that I can go and try to find somewhere to have some breakfast. And then we're going to go and shoot a wedding day. Just packing up our camera bags. This here is our ceremony kit. So it's got 3 camera bodies for a ceremony video. This is my normal camera bag for everyday wedding stuff. I'm going to pack those tripods as well. Over there, do you know where the ceremony was? You know, take some video in there.
Take a photo. Take a photo.
You're not done with photos yet, you'll be done with
Take a photo.
all of you
Take a photo. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, smile.
Say cheese.
Did you take a... Good morning, wedding is finished. What a bloody riot that wedding was. Real country vibes, very nice. Lots of country music. Yesterday got home, I'll overlay those clips now, got home from the wedding and just backed up and started packing up all of my gear until like 1 o'clock this morning. The next one of our list was actually going to be time and how much time you need to have. We'll talk about that when we get to the airport. Right now I want to talk about cases because I'm just packing them now, so this is probably the best time to talk about them. Something you're going to need, because if you're going to carry your gear from state to state, if you're going to keep traveling around and shooting weddings, or if you're going to go, you know, there's no easy way of saying this, but you need to put your gear under the plane. Everyone always says like, oh, just bring your gear on the plane, bring your gear on the plane. But like, I'm flying Virgin on the way home, and the max carry-on that you can bring is 7 kilos. 7 kilos. My camera bag weighs 15 kilos, and that's a pretty light kit. So, reality is you're gonna have to put your stuff underneath the plane. The best way to do that is with a solid case. I've spoken about one of these cases before, but I do have a lot of them, and that is the Nanook cases. Not sponsored, because nobody sponsors me because I swear too much. These are the cases that I use, and I really fucking love them. I'm going to run you through them very quickly and my setup on how I bring them with me, because they are an absolute must. Otherwise, I quite literally couldn't carry my gear with me to the wedding. This one here is the Nanook 950. This case is fucking fantastic. This is actually the first case that I ever bought when I started buying hard cases. Good that you can fit all of your gear in here without it ever moving.
Not good thing about this is it's just going to fit your camera gear. So this is my ceremony and speeches kit. This is the one that I bring, even in Adelaide if I'm shooting a wedding, like this gear doesn't really ever come out of here. If I'm shooting ceremony and speeches, this is the case that I will bring. It's good because you can sit on it. It's good because it's small. I bought it in bright orange so that nobody will ever be able to steal it. I'll be able to see them taking it out of the venue. Does mean it's a lot harder to hide the back of wedding videos and stuff, but good shit. Good case. Over here, this is my big boy. This is the Nanook 963. It is huge. That is my hand, and I have big hands. Originally, I bought this case, and it was gonna be my everyday camera case, and I've got the padded insert, and I got the thing that goes at the top, and I was gonna use it for all of my weddings because it can fit tripods in there, and it can fit everything. But the case itself, so just the case on its own, weighs 10 kilos. That's very heavy. With all of your stuff in there, this will probably weigh about 30 kilos when I put it under the plane. That's a lot of weight to carry on a wedding day. That's a lot of weight to carry with you everywhere that you're going. So I've actually gone back to a backpack setup. Just put my camera bag inside the hard case. So that's my whole camera bag. That's a bottle of red wine that I didn't drink. That's my camera bag that I shoot all my weddings with that we talked about the other day. That literally just sits inside this case perfectly, and then the areas around it I will just pad it with my clothes. Normally the clothes are in a packing cube like this, so I have like day by day packing cubes. So this is all the clothes for one day, the next packing cube's all the clothes for the next day, but then as I wear the clothes I kind of just lay them in around here to fill it out. It fits my tripods, it fits my cables, everything goes in the one bag. It goes underneath the plane. It's nice and safe. It has an air tag on it so I can track wherever it's going. I'm then able to shut my case, lock it up, and then that's what I will put underneath the plane. Something like this is probably one of the biggest must-haves for being a traveling wedding photographer, mainly because it keeps all of your gear safe. They're not cheap. Nanook is cheaper than Pelican, and I believe they're better than Pelican from what I've seen anyway. But you can't really put a price on keeping your gear safe, especially in Australia, because you're gonna have to put your gear under the plane. There's no way around it. I carry a backpack on the plane with me. I bring one camera with me on the plane. Usually that is the R5 Mark II and a 50-1.2, because in a pinch I could shoot an entire wedding day on that camera and lens. And then the rest of it goes underneath the plane. Does mean you pay more for baggage everywhere you go as well. Can't pack as many clothes, but literally, so this case here, this big black 963 is the one case that I take with me everywhere that I go. So if I'm just going to Melbourne to shoot a wedding, I will pay for baggage on the plane. I put my camera case in here, I put my clothes around it, and then I'll bring a backpack on the plane so I can play fucking video games and stuff. Other than that, that's all I'll bring with me. There's no need to bring anything else. If I was bringing something like the 955, then I would need to bring this case, and then I would need to bring another bag as well with clothes in it. I feel like this is the best system, and all you need to do is ask my wife. I have tried a lot of systems. There's lots of clips of me standing on the scales at home, just weighing my camera bags and weighing how much everything is so that I can make the most out of fucking space. But the 963 with the camera bag inside it seems to be the best go currently. One of the things that I didn't mention yesterday when I was getting home is that people just parked in front of my fucking hotel. So I couldn't even drive in and park in front of my own room. That's both days that I've been staying here that somebody's parked in my car park. So I had to park all the way down the street and then carry all my camera gear in what I've only been described as what is a very sketchy area. As soon as I told people where I was staying, everyone was like, oh, that's so scary. Why are you staying there? It's like a really bad area. So I had to carry all my camera gear late at night. And someone smashed the fucking window. What the fuck? What the fuck? How the fuck does that even fucking happen? It's just cost me like $2,000. This is really, really fucking annoying. And I'm just gonna say it out loud. This really, really fucking sucks. This really fucking sucks. I fucking knew it too when I was parking here yesterday. Fuck this whole spent this entire time building up that the next one we were going to talk about was time, and I've just kind of realized that time isn't something that you bring with you, which kind of defeats the purpose of this video. But I'll talk about it very quickly just because I've spoken about it for so long already. It's just making sure that you've got ample time, like even when you arrive at your venue or your area. So like arriving in Perth early meant that if my flight was cancelled or something, then I was able to get another flight or fix something so that I'm there in time. And then just like getting to the airport early on the way home too. Like I'm always here at least 2 hours early as soon as I can check in, because I don't want to leave anything up to chance, like a car getting broken into, which has really kind of fucked my mood for the entire day. But I'll lead straight into the next one, which is what this camera is currently sitting on now. Is actually just a solid travel backpack. This here is my everyday bag. I use this for literally everything all of the time. It's the Peter McKinnon 25 litre everyday backpack. It stands up by itself, which is sick. It has 2 bottle holders, which is great. I've got the straps on the front, so like I can always strap on like a hoodie or something to the front of the bag. I can store all my stuff in here, nice and easy. But then what I also do, I actually have it set up in the back here, because this is essentially a camera bag. You open up this back section. This section here is where all my stuff is that's coming on the plane, and then this is normally where I keep a spare camera in here as well. Having a solid backpack that you can just rely on all of the time just makes the thought of having to travel so much easier, because you don't need to be worrying about like what backpack are you going to take. I always bring the same camera bag, I always bring the same backpack, I always have the same camera cases that like carry all my gear. There's no thinking about anything, I just know that it's always going to work. Solid backpack is absolutely ideal. One of the sneaky ones I put on here was alcohol, because that does make your trip more fun, and that's what I'm going to do. But just while we prepare for the final thing that you should be bringing, this one's not exactly an essential, but it does make traveling so much easier for me. It just makes my life easier on the road. So first beer, then plane. Last thing that I want to talk about in my travel essentials, being a traveling wedding photographer and doing this fucking most weekends, it's actually this. And this is a new addition to our kit. It is the M4 MacBook Air. But just any proper travel laptop is absolutely fucking key. So at home, most of my work, pretty much everything that we do is done on the M2 MacBook Pro. We've got an absolute beast of a MacBook Pro at home that does all of our main editing, all of our proper video editing. Everything that we do that requires a lot of power is done on the M2 MacBook Pro, or whatever we have at home. That's our big, heavy, beefy laptop. This MacBook Air has recently come in because it's so light. It weighs nothing. I got the 13-inch one because it's nice and small. All I ever really needed to do is back up my photos, and the reason this is different than a normal laptop is the weight. So this weighs like a kilo, really doesn't weigh much at all, which means I'm able to slip it into my carry-on backpack without really knowing that it's there, but also gives me more space to carry other stuff in my camera bag. The MacBook Pro weighs like 2.5 kilos because it's such a big laptop, so 2.5 kilos plus the weight of your backpack, plus the weight of bringing a camera on board means you can't actually bring anything else on the plane without like having to pay for extra stuff. Again, this one isn't an essential, like you don't need to go out and buy a MacBook Air. It is far slower than my MacBook Pro, but for just like traveling and like backing up on site at weddings as well, having like a little MacBook Air has actually come in absolutely clutch. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far in, let me know if there is anything that you think I should add to my travel wedding kit. I think I've got it pretty fucking dialed in now. I'm always looking for ways to make it better. If you've got any questions about any of the gear that I have here, let me know in the comments and I will answer them as best as I possibly can. But until I see you in the next video, peace.